6 p.m. West African Time, daily. Be a part of the experience. For more information, visit www.thegrowthconference.org. Over 5,000 women from 20-plus countries impacted, one movement that never stops growing. The Growth Conference is back. This is the third international edition. And in this 2026 edition, we are convening 8 global leaders to speak on one bold topic: Ascent, her story to the top. This conference is designed to give leading women the platform to share their stories of success, failures, pivots, and ascent to the top of their pursuits. And through these stories, you will find the inspiration and courage to navigate your own circumstances and rise. Speaking at the Growth Conference, Shatha Al-Maskiri, Managing Director, Protivity Oman; Dr. Giorgio Ndure-Tambadu, Executive Director, Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund; Mime Best Agbi, Chief People Officer, Sundry Foods Limited; Beatrice Irete, Consciousness Mentor and Coach; Olga Kamenyuk, GCC Regional Head of HR; Kodo Jeng, Founder, Women in STEM Gambia and YSTEM Africa; Shaun Bhattacharya, Global Head, Training and Field Force Excellence; and Sarah Motha, Co-founder of Umfakatsi Peace Eco Village. Moderating the sessions are Lazola Kati, Climate Policy Specialist, and Abella Green, Human Capacity and Communication Consultant. Hosted and convened by Noela Ugwu, the Growth Coach. Every great story has a turning point. This could be yours. Join us live on Zoom and YouTube on the 20th and 21st of May, 2026, 6 p.m. West African Time, daily. Be a part of the experience. For more information, visit www.thegrowthconference.org.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Growth Conference International. My name is Lazola Kati. Just for all of the people that are joining in, please do let us know which country you're joining in the comments section. And hold your hands together and get excited for a jam-packed day one session of this conference. Please write down your questions. Don't be afraid to ask our questions. We've got a beautiful list of women here today. Thank you from Nigeria. We've got a beautiful list of women here today that are going to share impactful, amazing stories to inspire us all. This is our chance to ask our questions. Please don't forget to share the link that you have used to join the session. And also, please do follow us on YouTube. We've got a YouTube channel. So please don't forget to also follow us there and share the YouTube channel with more people as well. Thank you so much, Princess from Nigeria. Please do keep those country names coming. Also, don't be shy to add your country flag so that we can see the beautiful colors that make up our global village. Thank you. Hi, Lydia from Uganda. Welcome to 2026 conference. We've got so many beautiful people in the comment section. Princess from Nigeria. We've got so many beautiful women from Nigeria. We need to bring in everybody else, different countries. Let's represent. Don't be shy to put your country's flag. And to brief the new numbers that are coming in, we are in the comment section sharing our names and which country we come from. Judith from Nigeria, welcome. We are also encouraging everyone to share this live stream, share this Zoom link with family, friends, share it widely so that we can all learn together and engage together. And also, please don't forget to follow the YouTube channel. Tonia from Nigeria, welcome. Alison from Barbados, that's so lovely. Welcome, Alison. We are just welcoming everybody to this year's conference. It's so exciting for women to come together, tell their stories so we can share, understand, and also have a platform to share those silent battles and strategies for how we made it through to where we are today. We have women of all ages and genders of from everywhere coming through to share the story. Welcome, Success from Nigeria. It is brilliant to have you here. This is an intersectional space. Please do feel welcome. Ibelema, thank you for putting Nigeria's flag looking beautiful there. Thank you to everybody that has joined in. Please feel free to join the comment section. Tell us your name and which country you're coming from. Don't be shy to put your country's flag. We've got such a diverse group of people coming in. We've got people from Barbados, Nigeria, Uganda, South Africa. Please don't feel shy to put your country's flag, represent your region. It's an exciting session we've got going today. Welcome, Gerald, all the way from Zambia. Thank you for that beautiful flag. Thank you so much. Beatrice from Sierra Leone, welcome. Let's see those flags, everybody. Thank you, Stephanie from Nigeria. Welcome, Ogechi from Nigeria. Welcome to this year's conference. It's absolutely lovely to have you here. Umu from Ghana. Ghana, finally, I've seen you. Welcome. Welcome. Weluchu from the United Kingdom. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you so much. Don't forget to share today's Zoom link so that everybody else can enjoy and also participate in this conference. And don't forget to follow us on YouTube as well. Keep those flags coming. Tell us your name and which country you are in, which region you are in. Welcome, Favor from Nigeria. I'm seeing a lot of the beautiful Nigerian flag in the comment section. Absolutely lovely. Brilliant. We are about to start. Got a nice group of people coming in and announcing themselves. This is beautiful. Welcome, Edu from South Nigeria, and thank you for sharing that flag. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to start our program. First of all, I'd introduce myself as Lazo Lakati from South Africa. I'll be your moderator for this evening. Thank you very much for joining us in this year's Growth International Conference 2026. We are back. We've got a beautiful list of women that are going to be talking us through their stories today, sharing strategies, sharing their story, and also learning exchanges. Please feel free to write in the comments section your questions. Thank you and welcome to everyone. As I've said, as you come in, don't be shy to put your name and country flag, which region you're from. We're going to get started now and ask that our host, Noella Ugu, to welcome us to the conference. I will first go through Noella's profile, and then I will ask Noella to please take it away for us. Noella Ugu is a personal branding and business development expert, global keynote speaker, and leadership coach with over 13 years of experience training individuals, organizations, industries worldwide. Noella is passionate about empowering women and girls. She is the founder of the Growth Conference, a global platform for developing female leaders, and Teach for Her, a tech awareness initiative for secondary school girls. She was also invited to speak at the United Nations 75th anniversary on gender-based violence and inequality. Noella is a certified image consultant, a neurolinguistic master practitioner, a business coach, and an analyst. Noella is known for helping individuals and organizations transform their strengths into profitable, impactful brands through her engaging and results driven approach. She previously built a successful banking career with GT Bank and Stanbank IBTC, where she served as head private banker, Southeast, before founding her consulting business. I would like to welcome to the stage and to the platform Noella Ugu. Noella, please take it away.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lazola. Can you all hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lazola. Our distinguished guests, our esteemed speakers, our incredible male advocates who are here with us, our partners and phenomenal women who joined us from all around the world. I would like to say a big welcome to all of you. Today is actually proof that when women connect, when they collaborate, and when they courageously share their stories, transformation happens inevitably. It's so exciting to know that what started 2 years ago as a mere vision has become a global movement today. Over the years, the Growth Conference has evolved beyond being just an event on the calendar. It has actually become a connector, a bridge which brings women across industries, nations, cultures, and generations together. Now, this platform has also shown that something powerful happens when women gather intentionally, not just when they gather, but when they gather intentionally. It also shows that women don't just inspire one another, but that they multiply opportunities for one another whenever they gather. And this is what Book Conference has done in the past 2 years. But it will interest you to know that this conference wasn't built by women alone. No. Today, we would like to proudly and publicly acknowledge the role of our male advocates. These are men who have continued to amplify our voices. They've supported our ambitions. They have challenged the limiting beliefs and limiting systems that have held us bound. And these men have stood beside us and behind us unrelentlessly as partners in progress. Today, I would like to say to every father who is raising a confident daughter, and to every husband supporting a visionary wife, and to every executive who creates room for female leadership, we value all of you and we thank you. We thank you so much from our hearts. Now, as we look ahead, our vision is even bigger. Oh, yes, our vision is bigger, much bigger than you can imagine. We are expanding our reach into new regions across the world. We are building stronger global partnerships on a daily basis. We are creating networks. We are connecting women to opportunities, resources, and international collaborations. You're going to see what we mean as this event unfolds. But we refuse to stop at the conference level. When this conference was initiated, I mentioned that the Growth Conference was not going to end at the conference level. It wasn't going to end at conversations only. And because of that, our work continues through tangible actions, through projects that solve real problems for women, problems in their personal lives, in their careers, and in their businesses. At TGC, the Growth Conference, we are building a global ecosystem that empowers women to transform their lives and to shape the future in collaboration with one another and in collaboration with our men. And I can tell you that this is just the beginning. So from wherever you are joining us, I would like to say welcome. Sit tight, because the theme for this conference was carefully chosen: Ascent, her rise to the top. You are going to hear real stories. This is not just going to be another motivational speech, another inspirational speech. No, you are going to listen to those who have trodden the path, people who have already seen the patterns, and people who are going to help shorten your learning curve so you don't have to make unnecessary mistakes. That is why we are here. So welcome once again to the Growth Conference, and God bless you all as you listen to the stories of these amazing women. Thank you very much. But before I go off the stage, I would like us to spotlight those men who have been our backbone since the inception of this movement. They have been with us all the way, from day one, rooting for us, backing us up, collaborating with us, partnering with us, and even getting involved as speakers. If you look at our YouTube, If you go to our YouTube channel, you're going to see the men who have spoken on some of the growth conference events. And one of them is our dear Sanjeev Lahiri, a global HR leader. Next is Mr. Patrick Uduma, doctor, actually, pardon me, Dr. Patrick Uduma. He is a mediative leadership expert, and he is from Nigeria. I guess some of them are actually here with us. And then we have Gerald. Yes, Gerald is here. Gerald has been with us. Gerald has been he's been amazing. Gerald is a strategist, and he is from Zambia. Next, we have Professor Paul Igwe from the UK. He's an academic and a researcher, as you can see. And then last but not the least, we have Adia Kennedy, DK, another global human resource expert. All these men have been holding our hands, rooting for us, carrying us on their shoulders, ensuring that things work well and that we are not alone. And we say thank you so much to our stallions. We actually call them our stallions because we know that we can't do it alone. And from the beginning, I mentioned that the Growth Conference is not a gender battleground. But here, we work hand in hand in collaboration with our men to see that women get the seat that is due them at the table where decisions are made, decisions that affect our lives, decisions that affect our businesses and our careers. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming, and sit tight for an unforgettable evening of learning. Thank you. So I am going to read Lazola's profile for all of us. Lazola Kati is a social justice, climate change, and anti-greenwashing specialist with over 8 years of experience in project management, advocacy, and campaign leadership. She has led impactful national and global campaigns, including the Oceans Not Oil Movement, which gathered over 100,000 signatures and helped stop Shell's ocean exploration activities up South Africa's Eastern Cape coast. Lazola is a skilled researcher, a strategist, and a media lead. Lazola has collaborated with global organizations, embassies, and policy stakeholders on initiatives focused on anti-disformation digital rights, copyright reforms, and data accessibility. Her work with the Competition Commission of South Africa contributed to reduced data costs, expanding internet access for vulnerable communities. She is passionate about ethical leadership and social impact, and she continues to drive meaningful change through advocacy, policy engagement, and strategic campaigns. Let us give a resounding applause to Lazola. It will also interest you to know that Lazola has previously featured at the Growth Conference as a speaker. Today, she is featuring as a moderator. She is a family member. You are welcome, Lazola.
Thank you so much, Noella. I truly appreciate it. It's great to be home this year. And thank you very much for giving us a beautiful theme and making us understand why we are here, because it is a very important point to share our narratives as women and to share our narratives as an intersectional community. The men and women make for a beautiful generation, and it is exciting to know that we're going to be learning together, we're going to be exchanging, we're going to be asking each other questions. With that, I would like to bring up our first speaker, Shatha Al-Maskiri. As Shatha has over 2 decades of global experience. Shatha has worked across continents and cultures, helping organizations lead, innovate, and grow through people, processes, and technology. Her career spans renowned firms including Arthur Andersen, PwC, Shell, Protiviti, sorry, where she partnered with Fortune 500 clients across the USA, UK, Middle East, and Asia. She is passionate about driving strategic, people centered transformation through leadership, collaboration, and innovation. She is recognized for her leadership voice. Shatha has been featured in People Management Middle East and contributed to Pearson's Fundamentals of Management, the global edition. She is also the founder of Lahuna Oman, a social initiative that has impacted over 2,000 young women and men through mentorship, coaching, startup advisory, financial literacy, and community service initiatives. Please hold your hands together and clap for our first speaker, Shatha. Please take it away. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Am I audible? Thank you so much for the introduction.
You are audible, Shatha.
Okay, great. So you want me to just take you through my journey? It's it's you know, the best way to describe it, if anyone asks me, they would say it's a career suicide, because I literally did almost everything. I explored different service lines. Anything that did not resonate with me, I would just, you know, move on to the next. At one point in time, I was asking myself, am I doing the right thing? Because every 6 to 12 months, I'm like, okay, I want to try a new service line. So when I talk about my background, I started in external audit, and then I moved into management consulting, and then I did risk management. I literally did anything and everything. I just needed stuff to keep me excited, especially when you sacrifice your personal hours and your rest time for work. It better be worthwhile. And the only thing that I needed is I needed my mind to be constantly challenged. And I guess maybe that's when I discovered actually I'm quite a restless person. Before that, people used to say I'm just way too laid back, I'm too chilled, but I don't know what happened at work. Something happened. And I think one of the key things to mention, and I always refer back to the youth because I deal with a lot of youth who approach me for support. And I keep telling them, listen, at the start of my career, honestly, I did not know anything. And there are also people who did not help the situation because they would reinforce that feeling that, you know, there's this bizarre expectation that we should be walking in fully loaded with experience just because we have a degree. And as if university, you know, pre-installs you with experience, which they don't. And back then, we're talking about over 25 years ago, there were no laptops, there was no Google, there was no really much reference material. At least for me, in the space of external audit, I had to refer to these long binding, like with a metal binder on a long document. It's a longer page, it's more than a A3, I think. It's kind of like a very strange shape. And you have to learn how to read people's handwriting because nothing was printed. And I'd have to go through this crazy amount of documentation and ask myself, like, okay, what am I doing here? The only options I have is either I go through that or I ask human beings. And back then, the human beings weren't so nice. So just to give you a little bit background about me, I was one of the only women in that organization, and I was the only local person. Back then, most of them were expats. And of course, the expats, they come with a different, completely different model of experience where they get to do 2 years of, I think, internship or whatever they call it, qualification. Whereas for me, being a local, I just jump out of college and into a job. And
Please just hang on for a moment. If we can please mute ourselves while the speakers are on. Thank you so much, everyone. Shatha, please do take us through.
yeah.
You're muted, Shatha.
Shatha, please unmute your mic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. And so back then I was like, okay, if I ask questions, I'm going to sound stupid. And if I don't ask questions, I'm going to feel stupid. Which one do I do? And I remember 6 months in, I said, you know, I'm just constantly being given tasks, but I honestly couldn't understand the bigger picture. And so I decided, and now when I look back, I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but I must have been possessed or something with some kind of courage. I went straight to the partner of the firm and I told him, look, I've been here for 6 months. I don't feel like I'm benefiting from this experience. And he said, okay, don't worry about it. And I think this is a huge turning point. People might think it's something really small, but he told me, we're doing charity work. How about you take one of those clients where, there's charity work? I'm not worried if something goes wrong. Go test it out on your own. And then I thought to myself, oh my God, I think I just dug a bigger hole for myself. Now he's asking me to do this on my own. When I worked with the team, they didn't help me, and now I need to go on my own. But he said, you know what? Go to the storage, pull out the files, figure things out. I said, okay. And actually, that was a huge turning point for me, because when I went through the file, I started understanding what these abbreviations mean. I started understanding the bigger picture of why do we audit? What does it mean when something goes up, when something goes down? And I won't say that I was overconfident, but I would say that the anxiety went away. And when I submitted my file, I was afraid of the supervisor back then, because he just seemed very aggressive with everybody in the office. And then suddenly he calls out that particular client and he says, who did this? And I was like, oh, Lord, save me. And then I said, it was me. And then he's like, I don't believe it. And then I said, is that a good thing or a bad thing? He said, no, this is excellent. So for me, that's when I suddenly started building confidence and saying, oh my God, this job is really easy. It's just, there's two parts to it. Obviously, if I had nice mentors, it would have been nice if people were supportive. But reality is people are not always supportive, especially in workplaces that's very high pressure. Things have to get done. We work 12 to 16 hours a day. But then that was just the beginning or like a turning point for me, saying, you know what I've learned from that experience is that I tell every young person in my organization, you have 1 year to acclimate. You have 1 year to ask me as many stupid questions as you like. And you have 1 year to make as many mistakes. Just don't make the same mistakes over and over again, so that I can make sure that they don't lose that confidence. I gained my confidence. I was lucky. I'm raised by a very strong mother who is a businesswoman, who's an engineer, who's been a parliamentarian, and a social worker. So it helps a lot when I go back home and someone kicks me in the back and says, just go back. The other turning point is when people were asked to go, outside the field, places that might not feel very safe. And I told my mom, it seems like the guys are freaking out, so why should I go? Maybe I should just tell them I don't want to go. And she said, this is precisely why women fall behind. She's like, you're not going to make any excuses for them to use your gender against you. Just go ahead. And I remember one of the funniest moments is when I was asked to go to Yemen, and Yemen was not exactly a stable time. During that time, there were bombings and all that. And I told her, Mom, now they're asking me to go to Yemen. She's like, so go. And I said, what do you mean? It's not safe. She's like, oh, just get life insurance. I said, life insurance is not going to bring me back safe, And then she's like, don't worry about it. And again, I do believe, I think it also created a spiritual experience, because something personal happened. I had to cut my trip shorter. And when I came back the following day, my hotel was bombed, not the day I was there. So I said, what's meant to be is meant to be, and you gotta wing it through life. Can you hear me?
Wow. Yes. Thank you so much, Shaka.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing. I think it's so amazing that you used your gender not only as a limiting factor, but as a motivation factor. And absolutely amazing to your mother for actually encouraging you in that route, even though it meant going into a very unsafe country. But that is very amazing. I guess then that leads us, I think, to question ourselves, or rather ask you, like, what were some of the struggles and limitations and humble beginnings you faced trying to build the life and career you have now, where you can actually tell young girls that, listen, this is the blueprint. You've got a year to ask me stupid questions, and after that, that's done. What were some of the struggles and limitations that you went through to get you here?
To be very honest, I think I was in a headspace. I definitely went through a number of challenges, but going back to the way I was raised, there was no breathing space for someone to allow me to feel sorry for myself, which is my mom. There's just no breathing space to even feel sorry for myself. So if I tell her, look, I was treated unfairly, I did not get the appraisal I wanted, and all she would say is, oh, I'm really sorry. No, she would just tell me, go back and fight it out. I was like, I don't want to lose the opportunity for a promotion, or I don't want to lose an opportunity. She's like, no, she taught me how to be confrontational, but still using my feminine energy. I think that's one thing, because I told her I can never be aggressive, Mom. I cannot take on a masculine energy because that's not who I am. I do understand that there needs to be a balance, but I can't be masculine, and I don't want to be seen that way. I think I have a strength as a feminine, as a woman, and I want to take that with me. But later on, when I was dealing with women who were struggling at the workplace, not my workplace, but just coaching them and so on, that's when it hit me. And I was like, oh my God, I've been through all these struggles. I just never framed it that way because I went back home to men who embraced me and a mom who just ensured that she puts, like, I don't know, blinders and says, there's no such thing as age bias. There's no such thing as gender bias. Yes, it does exist. And she told me one time, which shocked me because my mom is seen as this person who's very powerful. And she said, I had moments when I had to drive to work and I felt like vomiting. And I got shocked and I told her, what do you mean? She's like, there were some people that were not nice. And my mom she got to the top of her game. She was a board member in her in her mid-20s. She was a technical advisor in telecom. And I'm just sharing this context to help you understand, I guess, where she built her confidence from. So the bullies are actually the ones who helped her rise faster. So I think I look at it that way too, is that all the struggles I went through, I thank them. If age was a bias, that I look too young to be to receive my advice, so be it. If I look too feminine, that I might be too emotional or whatever, or too aggressive. They use all these labels on us. Just let it get past your head and look, as long as we're comfortable to say when we're wrong, and we're comfortable to know to stick strong with what we believe in. And for me, I feel like every single struggle did not demolish me. I think it actually fueled me to rise above. And there's always two ways of looking at things. But one way I did to win everybody is like, I'm going to make sure they're dependent on me. And nobody understood what that meant, But I said, I'm going to make them dependent on me, whether they treat me fairly or not. When it reaches a point where it contradicts when someone says they're fighting for me for their department, but not giving me the appraisal I deserve. I'm like, look, if you want me to move to your department, you better give me the appraisal I deserve. You better reward me with the bonus that I should have earned. So I feel like so many of these instances of unfairness were actually reassurance for me, because I realized that I don't have to speak too much. I can let the performance speak for itself. And that is something that was very hard, especially for men, to ignore. When you perform as a woman, every man will want you on his team.
Thank you. That is absolutely true. Let the work speak for itself. Then they can't deny your gender. They can't come for you for your femininity. Yes. But also, it's so amazing that you honed in and basically went into your femininity and didn't shy away from that, and allowed your femininity to speak for itself and speak for you instead of having to take on a more masculine role, which I know that for a lot of women is a pressure in the professional and in the world, in fact. So it's such an important lesson. I've noted that down myself. So essentially, what fears, insecurities, or moments of self-doubt did you battle silently on your journey to success? I know you mentioned the fact that there was no breathing space. If maybe you can take us through that and other aspects that you felt really made you feel insecure or self-doubt, particularly in the beginning of your journey.
I can tell a story. I think that's the easiest way to put it. When I went to the US, obviously I was the only foreigner. At that time, SOX compliance was big. There was a lot of opportunities, and I was asked if I'm interested. I explored it, took the job. But of course, I went through a lot of insecurities because I actually saw 2 rounds of redundancies where half my team were just shut down and lost their job. And I remember at one point, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, next. I'm supposed to make my family proud that, I'm working in the US, and now I'm going to just be packing my bags and going home. And when I missed the bullet twice, so I told myself 2 things. I said, either I'm doing something right or I'm underpaid. Anyways, both ways, I'm okay with it, But I do remember being in a leadership meeting. I was quiet. And the moment I had something to say, someone cut me off. A man interrupted me. And this was a huge turning point because the woman in the room, who was a senior country partner, she lost it on him. She actually asked him to shut up and let me finish what I was saying. And I won't deny it. I was so scared the way she was aggressive. I said, I don't even know if I can remember what I wanted to say. But then she turned around and looked at me with a beautiful smile. And she said, can you please complete what you wanted to say? And then she took me privately to her office. And we had a really nice discussion. And she said, you know what? You have so much to add in these leadership meetings. How come you don't talk? And I said, look, I'm not going to talk just for the sake of filling the room with my voice. If there is something I can add on, I'd love to. But and I've learned one thing: men do talk as much as women do, if not more. We think, or we are brainwashed to believe that we talk a lot. Actually, no, we don't. At least at the workplace, from my experience, I said, I don't want to say something just for the sake of being heard. I don't need to have the last word. So what she did, again, to my surprise, which is also a nice leadership lesson to take, she said, you know what, from now on, in every leadership meeting, I'm going to carve 15 minutes for you to talk. I don't care about what. You're going to cover something for the first 15 minutes, because at that time there was 12 people in the leadership meeting and it was just one woman, who was me. So for me, I felt extra special. I'm an expat, I'm an Arab, I'm not, totally in sync with the whole workplace culture, the American culture, but she just took me right in. So for me, that was, again, a huge turning point. I just needed 2 moments with this woman where she shut someone up to give me space, and then carves time to allow me to speak.
That's an amazing story. That is definitely an amazing story. And I think a lot of us can testify that we've had, from a woman's perspective, a man cut us off. From a man's perspective, maybe an older man cut you off. But to have someone open the door and to take that baton and be given space, that is absolutely amazing. And it's also, you highlighted such an important point on, you want to speak when there is a need and not just to speak. And it's so important because you want to make an impactful input. And that's absolutely amazing, a great takeaway. I think then that would take us to the beginning of your journey was absolutely amazing. I want to know, what lessons from your journey do you believe every woman needs to hear to keep believing in herself despite life's challenges, workplace, personal, socialization? What are those lessons?
Okay, I think if you asked me this question 5 years ago or 10 years ago, it would be completely different. But now that I'm coming close to 50, my idea of so many things are very different. And I think one thing is, we need to stop glorifying overworking. Okay, there's this glorification that, if you work for 12 to 14 hours, if you work day and night, if you work on the weekends, you are a hustler, you're amazing. No. But at the same time, there's a lot of questions being asked around work-life balance. And I want to say work-life balance is a delusion. Okay, I think there's every stage in your life, you just have to really master the art of what work-life balance looks like for you. And because work-life balance, it comes with time, but it also comes with experience, and you learn how to make adjustments, and you also redefine what work-life balance means for you as you grow. There is no standard formula for work-life balance. That's one thing. Another thing is, I actually got an executive or a life coach just a couple of years ago. All these years, I was like, what do I need one at this point in time in my life? And coming towards the end of my career, maybe I could have asked it before. But this was very life-changing for me, because I just did a very simple exercise, and I discovered what my self-sabotages are. And self-sabotages of women is actually very common. So if you ask a woman, are you a perfectionist? Many of us are guilty of it. If we ask a woman, are you hypervigilant? Many of us are guilty of it. And that comes from our gender, the pressure to perform, the pressure to get things right, the pressure not to make mistakes because it would be used against us, the pressure of not being emotional and bottling things up. And then, we maybe have our implosion in the bathroom or implosion in the car, but just deal with it the next day. And so for me, I think it's very important to tell every woman and every man, actually, because I have a lot of young people who come up to me and say, I want to be just like you. And I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Please do not say that, and do not glorify specific personalities. Each one of us has our own story, and there is no standard definition of success. That word success alone kind of makes me sick. If people want to define it, it's very confining, it's very suffocating. And what achievement looks like on the outside is very different from what achievement on the inside feels like. And if it doesn't feel like you and you're not sitting comfortably with it, that's not success. No matter how many trophies you pick up, no matter how many people say lovely things about you, if you are broken when you're at home and you feel like, okay, is this it for me? That's not success. So I always tell everyone, don't be driven by success to get external validation on the outside. Find that internal validation within you and say, you know what I did today feels damn good. Whether I get a trophy, whether I get a thank you, whether I get appreciated or not, it's okay. Being self-aware, in my opinion, is your superpower. And this is something I've been, advocating for the young women. They always ask me, it's like, what do you mean self-awareness? And it's like, trust me, let's go through self-awareness first, and everything about the steps you will take next are going to be very different from what you thought you should be taking. And the other thing is, people keep saying, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? I never obsessed about that. And I think part of it is because I did not know what my purpose is. And suddenly I have someone who comes into my life and just lands something on me. So I founded Lahunna through my cousin, who told me, you know what, Shada, you're a person who's like a springboard for others. And I can see you doing things for others. And that's how Lahunna happened. I mean, I think thanks to COVID, I was so bored and I felt so restless. And I said, okay, I've done 20 years of consulting. What have I done for society? What have I done for the community? And that's when I started doing things for the community. And then I realized, you know what? Now I know what my purpose is. My experience in consulting helped me. And when people used to tell me, why are you doing people and culture? I said, I have no idea. It just keeps coming at me. It's not something I picked, but that now makes sense. I can connect the dots. My consulting and people and culture led me to do social work. And this is where I really feel purposeful. I don't know if this answers your question, but I thought those are my thoughts on it.
It definitely does. It absolutely does. Plus the practical element of finding out what your self-sabotaging traits are. Those physical activities that we can do are definitely beautiful takeaways. I have seen some comments in the comment section just saying thank you. I've seen someone saying they can relate with your story. I've seen some takeaways. Thank you so much, Shatha. You have shared a wealth of knowledge this evening, and we appreciate you coming through.
Thank you.
Please let's give a round of applause to Shatha while we welcome on Olga. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Olga Kamenyuk. Olga is, hi Olga, I'm so sorry. Olga is a senior HR and organizational development professional with extensive experience in organizational transformation, HR governance, performance management, compensation and benefits, and leadership advisory across multinational and regional business environments. She currently leads strategic HR within the automotive and trading industry, driving organizational structure, governance frameworks, KPI systems, and operational alignment across international branches. Olga is passionate about leadership, ethics, and sustainable people practices. Olga is committed to empowering teams, fostering emotionally intelligent leadership, and supporting organizations through growth, restructuring, and transformation. Thank you very much for joining us, Olga, this evening. Can you please take us back to the beginning of your journey and share a defining moment that shaped the woman that you are today?
First of all, I would like to thank you so much for inviting me for this exciting conference. I think it's not my first time as a speaker for some, discussion about the women in the leadership. First time for join such a huge one. So thank you so much for inviting me. And maybe what I will say will resonate with someone and can add, to the knowledge and success to others. to come back to your question, I think I've always imagined myself as number one everywhere. I was trying to think about my earliest memories, and I think that as a school girl, always I wanted to be first, number one everywhere, in all school activities, after school activities, home activities, everywhere. Um, I've been always restless, and I've been always trying to participate, to put myself in each trouble I could see around myself. Have grown up in the family that, we don't have this things like men, women differentiation, all are equal. And I was very lucky to be grown by parents that, raised me in real love, and shared with me all their love they could. So I never felt underestimated. um, but at some point, we say that school sometimes breaks their personality. Something happened in my high school, and I think that after that it was a kind of regression in the personality that I was building myself as. So I do remember that unsuccessful story, and it took me some quite years to rebuild the confidence back. So but so I, I've seen it in two ways, how it's growing in the family that is flourishing support and nourishing the personality, and how the schools and education can damage that things. It took me quite some years to overcome the damage. um, it's always been my family beside me, my parents, who gave me the good example of being, they always taught me, Olga, there is nothing, no dead end ever. There is, in always, in each situation you can find minimum two or three ways out. I took this sentence through all my life, and it really helped me a lot. um, I never, I never faced any situation where I couldn't find any two or three solutions, and that was my lesson learned, and that what helped me actually to build myself. And I truly build myself. My by education, I'm not an HR, and I'm a teacher. Yes, so I didn't like that career, and I started to grow myself from scratch. Whatever I could learn, I did it. And unfortunately, I didn't have around me at work or anywhere in the university or work environment someone who can coach me, lead me, develop me, or anything, stuff like that. So it was always me and myself, beside myself. And whatever I didn't know, I tried to learn. Whatever I see that I feel gap, I always motivated myself not to feel that gap, but to fill that gap. Not to feel depressed, or when I'm looking back in my over like almost 15 years of in HR, it's all built brick by brick by myself. Whatever I see that I don't know something, I learn it. Whatever I see that I'm missing some skills, or anywhere, it shows up when you communicate with in the meetings, when your colleagues, especially with seniors at your work, you feel where you are gapping, where the things that you have to learn. So that always, Olga is going back, opens the book and read. Now, of course, you have a lot of resources, and to be honest, there is never excuse that you don't know something. That's always, I never give myself this excuse. If I don't know something, I can learn it. And I think that is really that helped me a lot. And I keep on learning. I know a lot of things. However, I know that I don't know a lot of things, and I turned it into the kind of engine for myself for continuous learning. And I feel also, I always compare myself. I try not to compare myself to other people because, as the previous speaker said, you never compare someone to someone else. You compare yourself to what you were 1 year or 2 years back. So that is my journey, and I keep on learning. I have graduated from two universities. I have received four certifications after that, and every year I'm trying to learn something new, to participate, to take any course or any certification or learn something new. That keeps me, um, always tuned in my life.
Yes. Thank you so much, Olga. Definitely having three or more solutions is absolutely important. That is a great life lesson. I want to know, how have the obstacles, uncertainties, and experiences from your journey shaped your personal growth? And
I think I
perhaps,
will always give, I will also give an example. I think it can answer the question. At some period in my work, I had a situation when I really was hoping to be promoted. And instead of being promoted and working for that promotion for many years, someone else was hired. So it was really demotivating for me, and it was at that point I felt like it's a disaster. But what I did, I realized that okay, what's happened, and if I keep on thinking that I was not so good, maybe I didn't learn enough. It will never help. So what I did, I just started watching this person who was hired and shadowing and learning and turning it into the huge lesson, into the huge learning opportunity for myself, to first of all to overcome the emotion and see what I can do in this situation to the best for myself. What I can learn from here, what I can, which kind of experience will help me to grow more, what kind of skills I can train in myself, that I can see that that person was more successful maybe in this particular situation, what helped him or her to be like that. And I learned. And in that situation, I learned not only something for professional life, something in HR, something in leadership. No, I learned something in that helped me to stabilize my emotional intelligence. This part is really important. When you turn something that triggers your emotion, especially negative emotion, into the engine, that is when you find the gold. uh, you just take anything in your life as an opportunity, you take anything in your life as an experience, you take anything in your life as something to as a step above you, what you were before. That was my lesson, and I really I take it later on as something happened again and again, and then I always take it as a learning opportunity, whether it's personal life or something with friends or something with in networking or something at work. Whenever something negative you feel from the first time it's happening, you always turn it into something positive and as an engine and push to yourself for yourself to move on.
that is absolutely amazing. That is so true. What kept you resilient? What was it through the fear, rejection, burnout, and difficult seasons in your path to success? Because you've shared the lesson, but what is it that kept you resilient through those moments and seasons?
My kids.
Mm,
I think I have two kids, and I know, first of all, I know that I'm their backup. There is no one behind them to support them. And of course, if I should be number one example for them. I cannot teach them how to live their life, but I can always be a good example of being someone resilient, someone who can go through, who can survive, who can stand up, who can, you know, so when you fall down, you always stand up. And whenever I feel that I don't have power anymore, I just have this eyes of my kids in front of me all the time, and I know that they're waiting for their mommy to stand up and be their best example. I think that is the biggest motivator for myself.
Wow, thank you so much, Olga. That is absolutely inspiring. I think it's so important to look to the new generation, look to the younger generation, be an inspiration, but also having beautiful children looking up to you. So much pressure, but you seem to have really come through it better than anything. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. This evening, we've really enjoyed it and learned so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes. For everyone in the comments section, please do not forget you can still ask Olga and Shatha questions in the comment sections. They are still in the call and they can still answer your questions. Admin will be there to look through them and kind of sift them out so that you can have your questions answered. I see that it looks like there is a question. I am just going to read it
My
out.
hand is up, Lazola.
Yes, please go ahead, Noella.
Okay. Thank you so much, Olga, for such a stimulating story that you just told us. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yes. I could just imagine being having your children as your strength, when you feel like you're losing your strength and you just look at your children's eyes, you don't want to fail them. Has there ever been a moment where you felt like, oh my goodness, it looks like I'm failing these kids? Has that moment had it ever occurred? A time where you
Failing
felt
the
like,
kid.
yeah, when you, has there ever been a moment when you felt like you were not strong enough for your children? When pressure became so overwhelming and you're telling yourself, oh my goodness, I don't think I am what I wanted to be for them today. And how
Well,
were you able to
I
psychologically get out of it?
look, I really have a very complicated personal life that I don't think I have anyone would be interested to hear about that. But actually, I grow my children as a single mother, and it's been moments of everything, of crying, of not sleeping at night. Trust me, I had seen my first kid. Believe it, but there were times when I
I
were
can't hear you anymore.
sorry.
I lost you for like 2 seconds. I lost you for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, what I'm saying that it's been there were moments of everything. Of course, in the beginning it was very difficult, and most of the moments were so depressive, crying, not sleeping. Sometimes I didn't have enough money for even for myself, for food, for anything. So trust me, I've seen a lot. But yeah, I always there were some moments when I thought that I'm not a good mom. What kind of example I'm showing? But looking back now, when my older child is almost 20, I
Hmm.
think I really did a lot. And being in this age also, I started to learn to praise myself for that, which I wish could have learned much earlier, to praise myself for you know for what I've done, for all my achievements, because there was no one beside me to clap the hands and saying, Olga, you are doing well. Yeah, 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 go ahead, go ahead. It was
Imagine.
always very difficult. But now I see that, wow, I'm super cool. Now I
You're
can
super
say that,
cool.
yeah, I'm super nice mom.
Yeah.
Not now only, but it's been a lot.
Mm. Wow, that's
Wow.
actually amazing.
Well done. Well done. Well done. Thank you so much. And I'm sure that some people are going to draw strength from this. Some people
Mm.
who are at the level that you have been through. You can see Olga now. I mean, she's pulled through it with all the uncertainties, with not knowing what tomorrow brings and, being unsure of what the next step is going to be. She's still here standing. First child is almost 20, and she has just started. In fact, Olga is just beginning. Thank you so much, Olga.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nail.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Noella, for that question. That was
There's a
deeply
question in the chat section by
okay.
Ibifaka Campbell.
All right. Let's just read that out loud. So there's a question for you, Olga. Hi, Olga. What about in a situation where you were more qualified than the person that was employed, instead of you being promoted and there was nothing for you to learn from the person? What would you have done in that situation?
Yeah, it actually was the case.
Okay. Okay. So how
Yeah.
did you rise from that? What did you pick up? What were the, I guess, things that we would say are small, but you felt like was still a learning moment, even from
It
that?
was, yeah, it actually when I learned that it doesn't matter who is promoted and why, it's a matter of what I'm doing and how I'm doing and how what are my values. I'm still with my values. Am I still with my ethics? Am I still bringing the truth which I believe in? And it was really difficult and it was so emotionally challenging, but still I learned something really really important, that it doesn't matter who is being promoted, your time is coming anyway, sooner or later. And after 2 years approximately, I learned that I really why it was not happening. I was not, when I saw the challenges and I saw the huge disaster that is coming to that position, I realized that I was not ready. I thought
Mm,
that I was ready. So it was, I learned something very important, that everything's coming in the right moment. Regardless how, um, Instagram like it sounds, but it's really, it's truth. It's, it's coming. And if it's not coming right now to you, it means that life is either protecting you from something or it's still making you ready for something bigger. And now I truly believe in that
mm.
because I faced it.
Thank you so much. There's another question here, from Ashley, I believe. How do I manage work colleagues who make me feel like I don't belong in the workplace? So how do you add value in a workplace like that?
Well, that is actually a very strange situation that happened to me. That when I moved to Middle East, I grown up. I was born and grown up in Ukraine, and that is completely different environment. And I never thought that the women have to fight for their place. It was for me like something really.
Mm,
It's my born, I deserve it when I was born.
mm,
Um, so it was challenging for me. It's totally different culture. However, I learned to respect it. I learned to understand from where it's coming. So it felt from beginning that I don't belong to the place really. But what I did to myself, I don't know if it's correct, if it worked, if it's not a best practice, it just worked for me. I kept on working. I kept on focusing on myself, how I am doing things, not how people are thinking I'm doing. Do I belong?
yeah.
Do I feel belonging? Do I do the right thing? If you don't feel belonging to some place, it means maybe you're not doing something that you like. Look at it from other perspective. But if everyone around you thinks that you are not or giving making everything possible to make you feel uncomfortable, uh, it means that it's not, like again, something that I learned recently only, when you grow up, when you are afraid of something, or you feel somewhere deep in you that you have some belief, it doesn't come to the conscious level, but you believe in something, you attract it. So if
Mm,
you deeply inside you believe that you don't belong to this place, that the whole environment builds in a way to confirm that you are correct.
mm,
So I'm not sure if you believe in this or not. I believed it because I tested it on myself. It worked for me. I understood that if you deeply believe that you don't belong, if you deeply believe you don't deserve, if you deeply believe that you are not good enough, you are not good enough. But
mm.
if you deeply believe that you are enough, you are good, you are doing your best, then all the world around you shapes in a way that to support your belief.
All right. Thank you so much, Olga. I know there are more questions in the comments section. There is one about how to balance challenges of being a single mother and performing optimally at work. I will ask that, Olga, you stay in the conference so that we can be able to talk through those questions after. But thank you so much for sharing. You've really shared such an amazing story and amazing tactics of self-reliance. Right now, we are going to have a special announcement. I would like to ask Ogo Ekwale to come through to the platform and share a special announcement. Ogo, are you with us? We're just going to give Ogo a few minutes just to come. There is a special announcement that Ogo Ekwale needs to share with us all. While we wait for Ogo, thank you so much for engaging in the comment section. Do not forget to keep asking your questions. We are very interested. The speakers are here, they are ready to answer the questions. So please, please keep on asking those questions, keep on asking those engaging questions. Maybe also while
Ogo
we
is
wait.
ready. Ogo is
Oh,
ready.
all right. Thank you so much, Noella. Ogo, please take it away.
Go ahead, please.
Ogo, I think you're still muted. You can go ahead though. I think we're having some technical.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you,
Okay,
Ogo.
thank you so much. Just technical glitch there. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful experience. I'm really learning a lot, and thank you so far. So the reason why I'm here, good evening, ladies, gentlemen, amazing women, entrepreneurs, partners, and supporters of the TGC. It's such a privilege to be before you today to announce something very special. For years, the Growth Conference has been a place of inspiration, awakening, encouragement, and empowerment. Women have gathered here to be reminded of who they are, what they carry, and what is possible. But this year, we're taking a bold step forward. Because inspiration is very powerful. We agree. But inspiration alone is not enough. We've done this for many editions across the globe. I want to take it a step further. Awareness is important, but awareness without structure does not always produce transformation. At TGC, we believe that when a woman is empowered, she should not only live motivated, she should be equipped. This is why we're launching the maiden edition of the TGC Accelerator Program for Nigerian female entrepreneurs. So now please just give us a little breather when I say Nigerian entrepreneurs, because this is the maiden edition, and I know that we're speaking to women across the globe. When we started TGC, we started in Nigeria. So we'll begin to build a structure using this as a maiden edition, and then we'll go country by country or continent by continent. So this program has been designed for Nigerian female entrepreneurs who are ready to move their businesses from hustle to structure, from survivors to sustainability, and from one small daily effort to a real enterprise. We know that many women are doing incredible things across the globe, especially in Nigeria. Fashion, food, retail, agriculture, manufacturing, technology. But sometimes these businesses are still carried heavily on the shoulders of the founder. She's the accountant, she's the marketer, HR, salesperson, operations, everything. She's working really hard, but the business is not yet structured or even growing beyond her. Now, we've seen a problem. We are now closing the gap. The TGC Accelerator Program is here to help change that. Through the program, the word is selected, female entrepreneurs who receive practical trainings in core areas every growing business needs. They will learn how to clarify their business model, strengthen their branding, manage finance better, improve their sales system, structure their operations, manage staff efficiently, document business properly, and position themselves for opportunities locally and globally. This is not just another motivational program. This is not theory heavy. It is not certificate only experience. It is practical, hands-on, and designed for women to build businesses that can stand, scale, and attract opportunities. So now the biggest announcement is that this maiden exhibition is free in collaboration with Bank of Industry Glow Loan for Women. So we went all out to say we are bringing in the best of the best to support our women. So round of applause, virtual round of applause for the TGC team. This partnership is important because one of the major challenges women experience across the world is access. Access to knowledge, access to network, access to structure, and growth opportunities. But before opportunity comes, preparation must happen. This is it. Many times the issue is not that the women are not hardworking. Come off it. We are so hardworking. But most hardworking entrepreneurs are not ready for the opportunities when it comes because the business is not paper ready. No structure and no financial support. Now, this accelerator program is here and it's a response to the gap. Our goal is simple: to help women build businesses that are opportunity ready. By the end of the program, participants should not only be more confident, they should be more structured, they should have clearer business profiles, financial records, stronger brand positioning, and improved systems. So who is this program for? It is for a woman who already has a business she knows she needs to structure. It's for an entrepreneur who is tired of running business every day without any structure. It's for founders who want her brand to be taken seriously. It's for a businesswoman who wants to understand her numbers better. It's for a woman who wants to be better prepared for bigger rooms, bigger clients, bigger partnership, and bigger opportunities. Now, applications will be open right now. On the screen, you would see how to apply. Right now, you see the application process. It is free, but it is not casual, meaning that you need to go through a process. There's going to be vetting and selection. We have a selected group of women that will go through this process. So you need to be quick, you need to fill it correctly, and then we'll go through a selection process. So now you can see it on the screen, and then you go through a structured training experience with facilitators, practical assignments, business clinics, and mentorship supports. So we're looking for women who are serious, committed, teachable. In fact, when you go through the application form and you finish it, I feel like that is your first step to show seriousness because we're asking very critical questions about your business. So it's an opportunity for women who want to maximize it fully. So as we unveil the TGC Accelerator Program today, our message is clear. TGC is no longer just a conference you attend. It has become a platform that equips women to solve real-life challenges, build sustainable businesses, and create lasting impacts. So to every female entrepreneur out there, in this room or wherever you may be, prepare your business, prepare your minds, prepare your records, prepare your brand, prepare your systems. Because when opportunity comes, preparation will give you access. We are excited about this maiden event, and we believe that through this program, Nigerian female entrepreneurs will not only be inspired, but they will be equipped and will be getting ready to come to other continents. So at TGC, we are not just raising inspired women, we're raising equipped women, structuring businesses, and future-ready entrepreneurs. So thank you and welcome to the beginning of the TGC Accelerator Program.
Woo! Thank you very much, Olga. That was quite an announcement. That was extremely exciting. For us women outside of Nigeria, we look forward to having this program spread. We also look forward to seeing the women that come out, the businesses that come out of this acceleration program. It is going to be so exciting. And I'm sure if there's any questions, all of the information is on the application form. Good luck to every single Nigerian woman that will be applying. Olga?
And the application has to come very quickly because there's a timeline. I think a week after
Yes.
now, we'll start doing the selection. So as it's open now, so you have a week, then after this week, so like next week, Friday, it will
Yes.
be closed. So share the link, share it to your friends, and let's the selection start. Good luck to every woman that applies.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Olga. You heard everybody. Share the link, share to everybody, and apply. Start applying now. Don't stop applying. Start right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, getting back to our speakers for this evening with the excitement of the acceleration program in us, I would like to call upon Dr. Jojo Ndure Tambedu to please come through. Dr. Jojo is a renowned Gambian scientist and digital transformation expert, recently appointed as the inaugural executive director of the Tertiary and Higher Education Trust Fund. With a PhD in medical sciences, she transitioned from vaccine research at the MRC into national STEM, education and digital innovation leadership. As a former CEO of Insist Global, she led impactful digital and financial literacy programs that empowered over 13,000 women and youth. She's a strong advocate for gender equity and inclusive leadership. Dr. Jojo mentors girls, women through the Rise Women Network and has advised global organizations including UNESCO, ITC, and UNDESA. Her outstanding contributions have earned her several recognitions, including Women of the Year in 2024 and recognition by Forbes Africa. Please join me as I clap my hands and welcome Dr. Jojo to the platform. Please take us away, Dr. Jojo. And
Good
please,
evening.
good evening. Thank you so much. As you take us away, please take us through the journey back in the beginning of this beautiful success that we are reading today. Take us through defining moments that shaped the woman that you are today.
Thank you. Good evening, amazing ladies and the he for she's. Thank you for having me in this conference. As you mentioned, well, I'm a scientist. I'm a trained scientist, but I've done a lot of things. And a lot of the times as women, we try to limit ourselves. And there's a particular quotation by Shakespeare that says that a master of all trades is a jack of all trades is a master of none, that a lot of us know of. But the actual full quote is actually a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. So we have been conditioned to, to think that, we have to limit ourselves. And I think growing up from a very young age, my mom passed away when I was 6. So I was raised by my dad. And we are 4 girls. So I grew up from a family of matriarchs. My grandmother was the first um, Muslim woman to actually complete secondary school and go study nursing in the UK in the 50s. So I grew up in a family where not being educated was not an option. And when I look at myself today, I am described as someone bold and confident, but I think I am basically just standing, as they say, on the shoulders of giants like my grandmother. So where we are not defined by what society says we should do, how society says we should act. As a woman in leadership, a lot of women try to conform and they're not authentic to themselves. So I come in a place with my red lipsticks and people look at me like, how dare you? How dare you? You have a PhD. How dare you be a relatively young woman? How dare you be authentic to yourself and be at this table? And so my journey started at a very young age. I left for the UK when I was 16. I went for sixth form, but every opportunity I had during my holidays, I'd be in the lab. So I'd be at boot camp at Oxford University. And my first research experience was actually a placement at Queen Mary University, where I made my first discovery, and I was actually awarded a Gold Cross Award by the UK government. And then I went on to study biomedical sciences, and my PhD is in immunology. So my first, but I also did some research work in neuroscience. So I came back to the Gambia. For us, not coming back home was not an option. Our father always said, you know what, you're going to study and gain knowledge and come back. Although I stayed for almost 10 years. So when I was expecting my first child, I knew that it wasn't an option to raise my child in the UK. I wanted my child to have the same upbringing that I had and to grow up in the same environment, but also be proud of who she is. So I came back. I spent a few months at the MRC, which is a UK organization in the Gambia. I went back, had her. When she was younger, I came back home and I worked on different vaccine trials. So for me, the defining moment was, so I call my journey from the bench to the boardroom. Although most people would have been fulfilled, but I was never fulfilled from all of those recognition. I would leave the labs and I couldn't unsee a lot of what was happening. I felt very unsettled that I'll leave the labs, I'll see a lot of sick people sleeping out in the waiting to be seen by a doctor. To meet a lot of really smart young people that do not have the opportunities and they're not employed. I think the one that really did it for me was, so Gambia has the highest illegal immigration rate. To see a lot of our youth in search of greener pastures, wanting to take what we call the back way. So, you know, going through the oceans in a small canoe or through the desert, thinking that if they get to Europe, that's where the opportunities are, or or that the roads are made of gold and streams of milk, as I tell them. They to think that they've lost hope and they have despaired to a state where they believe that they have to leave their countries and risk their lives. For me, I had to question myself, and I did a lot of soul searching. What is the point of knowledge if you can't really use it to lift others? So I think for me, I had to find what my purpose is. And I actually wrote it out. And my purpose is I live to seek knowledge. So I'm a continual learner. I never want to say, I don't know. So I always say, I'll have to find out. So I'm a researcher. So, and I believe that if someone is able to do something or it has been done, then I can do research to learn how it's done. So I think this is what has really helped me. I've adapted to a lot of environments. So I'm able to take what I learned at the bench into the boardroom, and nothing has really changed. That curiosity I had, that drive to find answers and solutions, that drive and passion to really be a better person and to learn more and to gain knowledge and to troubleshoot as I go. So I never see it as I always see things as experimenting, right? I have a lot of interns, and I tell them, I was like, just being alive, I am grateful. And I'm a Muslim, and as Muslims, there's a word called jihad. And I believe for me, jihad is actually being the best person I can, but also helping others. What is the point of knowledge if it's not benefiting not only your family, but your community? And a lot of the times when I do things, I think about if I'm not here today. So I have this connection with death. I know a lot of people don't like talking about death, but I have a connection with death. And every time I do something, I think to myself, if I wasn't here today, would I be proud of this? If I wasn't here today, what is the legacy I'm leaving behind? But what will people say about me? But I also think that the value that really drives me is always saying my truth and being authentic to who I am. So no matter who is in a room, so everybody knows it in Gambia, I will say it as it is. And that has, I believe, has taken me to where I am now. The fact that I am willing to learn, I am willing to adapt, I will try to find a solution, but just being true to myself and being authentic. And um, for me, a defining moment as well was last week when my daughter wanted to, she's currently in South Africa at the African Leadership Academy. She's in boarding school, and she wanted to make a speech. And I was like, was it necessary to make that speech you want to make? She said, Mommy, you told me that no matter what it is or who it is, even if they're holding a knife on my neck, always say your truth. And then I said I had to allow her to be true to herself. So I think that's, as women, let's be truthful to ourselves, let's be authentic to ourselves, but also let's be that affirmation for other women. There was a meeting I went to, and there was a guy, so it was a panel, and I was the only woman there. And after the panel discussion, everybody came to me and said, "Oh, that was an awesome speech." And there was a man next to me who was, so this was in East Africa, but the man was from West Africa, and he said, "Yes, at our expense." I'm like, okay, what is the connection between me giving a big speech, a good speech, or a good presentation at your expense? So we find ourselves in environments where insecurities, right, are displaced, and people will actually get upset at you for achieving something. So we need, but after that, at the next panel discussion, because of how I presented, the other women also really gave it their all. They stood up, they presented. So it was an affirmation for me, because sometimes you can look bold and confident, but you need that affirmation. And it can be small things. I was in an office 2 weeks ago, and I was walking, and my shoes were making, well, you know how heels, the sound that heels make, right? And I was like, oh no, and I started kind of tiptoeing. My shoes are making a lot of noise, and I turned around, and there's an amazing woman called Fatu Balde, who's an international woman of courage and recognized by Time, and she was like, "Cock, make that noise, girl, make that noise." I laughed, but it was an affirmation. I have another friend that would tell me, "Put on that lipstick." So and when you're also in rooms, sometimes you can be the bold one that can talk for other people. I was in a meeting, and this was in a meeting of engineers, and there were only a few women engineers, and they were debating, and they were saying how the men engineers were better engineers. And I came in and I was like, no. And I was the only one talking in that room. And I looked at the girls and I'm like, what's going on? Like, why aren't you saying anything? And one of them said, in every room, we need a woman like you, Auntie Georgia, to speak for us. So, but we will not always be in rooms where we can speak for everyone. And I think sometimes as women, we don't want to be seen as confident, as bold. It may be seen as arrogance. We don't want to be audacious, but I think life meets you at your level of audacity. So even when you're feeling, although people may believe I'm bold, even if I'm not feeling as confident, I always just come up with a smile, and I try and I give it my best. So currently I'm leading the Higher Education Trust Fund, appointed by the President of the Gambia, and is under the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. And our mandate is to provide strategic investments in our educational institutions to ensure that our trainees and our students have access to Yes, wait, thank you. You're so kind. I'll get that later. That our graduates have access to equitable, high quality, and relevant education. And all the time, from moving from a scientist to actually working in STEM leadership, being a co-founder, doing a lot of training. I'm a UN consultant. For me, I felt unsettled because it was that realization that science alone could not solve problems, and I needed to change systems, and that's what I have been doing ever since. But people in academia, some of my family members, first, why did you move back home to Gambia? Secondly, why are you leaving your job? I mean, you did your PhD. Why do you want to start again? And I think a lot of people don't look at, this is a skill set I have, and I have transferable skills, and they're not following their purpose. And I think that's where the difference is. A lot of people are looking at, what am I earning here? And I never looked at that. And I think that really helped me. I never really looked at, what am I earning? It had always been, what is the impact I am making? And as I made that impact, it was actually roles that came to me, and I never really had to chase those roles. But a lot of people thought, oh, you must be crazy leaving this sort of job to actually start something else. But now I think it's because of I made that sacrifice, I came out of my comfort zone, that I'm actually able to do this sort of work. And I call it my ikigai. I don't feel like I'm working. Every day I wake up, every day I'm looking at how I can find solutions to make sure that I equip the youth of the Gambia so that they have the tools and the opportunities that they need to have better livelihoods.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was a very amazing, jam-packed takeaways. Be confident, women, speak your truth. My follow-up question to you is, how do you balance it all? You are doing so amazing. How do you balance the career, your purpose that is so closely linked to who you are, growth, family, and expectations, while also staying true to who you are intrinsically?
Hey. So I think it was Michelle Obama that said, you can have it all, but not all at once.
Yes.
And I think it has to do with a lot of prioritization, and you can never really have a balance, a work and life balance, as they say. I love my kids, and I spend a lot of time with them when I can. So whenever I have the opportunity, I try to really spend a lot of time with them, and I don't take myself too seriously. So I play with them, I jump on the trampoline. So and that's the same. That's my sort of character as well with my staff as well. Like, but they know that, you know what, I if I get into a room, they know that I have the authority. I have empathy, but they also know that because I work so hard, they also work really hard. For my children, I also have a good support system in that I have people that help me to take care of them. And that makes life slightly easier, but it's really difficult. So I have, my first child is 17, but my second is 7, and the third one is 6. So I have this long gap where, I just focused on my career. I focused on doing my PhD. And now I have two really young ones. And I don't have the same energy as I did with the first, but I'm really doing my best with these two. But also the first was so much easier to manage.
Number ones are always easier.
Right? And then the last two are really, are testing me. but I just do my best, and I'm really amazed at the love that they give me. And I sometimes feel guilty that, you know what, I'm not spending as much time as I do with the younger one, but I have a lot of mentors that help me navigate that. And I have a good support system. So my family, my husband, they're quite understanding, but it's not easy at all. So when my second child was really young, what I used to do was to wake up at night and do a lot of work, then sleep again. So my sleeping pattern was not that perfect. But now I take I do a lot of events. But when it's weekends, I don't take any events. I dedicate that to my family. Also, I try to do as much as I can at work so that when I come home, I can also spend time with them, help them with their homework, do their hair. Although when I do my child's hair, my husband tells me that I should be paying them because I'm actually experimenting on their heads. But so I do everything that, you know, I'm supposed to do as a mom. And I just do as much as I can. I wish I could do more, but I'm trying my best.
Okay. On that, share with us a season in your life where you were emotionally, mentally, and professionally stretched. And ultimately, how did you change that? How did you pivot that for the better for you?
So I think it would be about, so the last place I worked, I was emotionally connected. But it was about where could I make more impact, but also realizing that I have contributed enough and I can still support as I can. But I had also groomed a very good team that could take over. And I think the realization was, so I'll give them something to do, to write a proposal. Just with little guidance, the quality of work was just exceptional. I was like, okay, I'm not needed here anymore. I have trained them enough. And I think sometimes in leadership, you need to know when it's time to step aside and lift others to take over. I do a lot of community work, community initiatives, and a lot of the times these are institutionalized. But also I have chosen who to give time to, because the realization that not everybody is worth your time, it's very important. When you start choosing who to give time to and what work to do, what not to do, and choosing yourself slightly, it really helps. It's stressful sometimes, having to deal, especially when you're part of different communities, different personalities, and not everybody can take your type of personality, right? But I do a lot of training, understanding the different types of personalities and how to work effectively with them. But sometimes as well, when you work with a lot of people, you notice that some people are different, and you have to communicate in a professional way how they need to work to make you successful in your role.
Yes.
And I think sometimes as a woman leader, it may be taken differently, and it usually happens with men and not women staff. I think wherever I am, I have a lot of women that want to come and work with me. I have men that also want to come and work with me, but sometimes with some of their values that they use to, and sometimes religious, sometimes cultural, you would see that they would some of them would try to challenge you. They will try to challenge you. And as a scientist, I can take on any challenge. Bring me 10 men and we will just keep going. My husband and my brother-in-law tells me, if they want to have a debate with me, let's do it at night, because I sleep early at 8 p.m. But if you do it in the morning, it's a never-ending debate. So I just say yes. I say yes in the evening. But I think, yes, it's definitely just knowing how to deal with some when men try to challenge you.
Yes.
But I don't think much of it. I just let my work speak for myself. I am just authentic to myself. So either you accept that, and that's the sort of culture that I built.
Okay. Thank you so much. In closing, give us one point in your life that you realized that your story, your voice, and your journey had the power to inspire and uplift other women. One point.
Okay. Something. Yes, let me just say this. Yes, so I think it was a couple of years ago, and a particular mentee went for a championship in Ghana. So this is just one that I can think of at the top of my head. And I think they were losing. It was a robotics competition, and they were losing. And she looked at her instructor and said, I cannot go back without the trophy because of Auntie Georgia. I need to take this back so Auntie Georgia can be proud of me. So I think sometimes just by being, although you're going through so many challenges, but just by being who you are and giving that hope to people, they also want to do more. And for me, that is enough. If I can wake up any day and by just the work that I have been doing or the fact that I want to do more, someone else feels that works harder or dares to dream, for me, that is enough. But also I wanted to share this. A couple of years ago, I was very ill and I was sleeping in my bed. And at the time I had just finished my consultancy. There was a consultancy I finished, I got paid. I had ordered new clothes and shoes, but I was so sick that I was looking at my closet. I could not do anything. So I think we really need to look at sometimes mental health, physical health. We need to really take care of ourselves because without health, we can't do anything. And let's take care of ourselves first before we can take care of other people. But I think since that day, for me, I'm just very grateful that every day I am looking at how I can do more. And I have that sense of urgency because I believe that if I don't do more, that's another person that's risking their lives by going through the back way because they don't have an opportunity or they don't have hope in our countries.
Thank you. That's so important. Boundaries and self-care. Audre Lorde said that it is a form of warfare to take care of thyself. Thank you so much, Dr. Jojo. We've learned so much from you. It is so inspiring to hear the story of a woman who walks her path and says it like it is in a world where women are expected to refine themselves. So thank you so much for coming up and stepping and sharing. If there are any questions for Dr. Jojo, please put them in the comment section and Dr. Jojo will answer them through typing. It's the same with Olga or Shatha. If you have any questions, please direct them to the speakers in the comment section. And as we move with the program, they will definitely answer them in the comment section as a reply. Thank you so much. Up next, as our last speaker, we have Meme Best Agbi. Thank you so much, Meme. Meme is a seasoned human resources professional with an engineering background and over 18 years of impactful HR experience. As a C-level HR executive at Sundry Foods Limited, she drives people-focused strategies and has played a key role in optimizing and transforming a workforce over 7,000 employees across Sundry Foods and Sundry Markets Limited, contributing significantly to the company's growth and expansion. Meme has a certificate in Human Rights Resource Leader, designation from the Human Resources Professional Association in Canada, and is a full member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management Personnel Management, excuse me. She is a business-minded, results-driven leader with expertise in strategic planning, talent management, digital HR transformation, change management, and organizational leadership. Truly an embodiment of grace and grit. Meme, please step up and take us away. Firstly, please do take us through or rather, let me say, take us back to the beginning of your journey and share a defining moment or season that shaped the woman that you are today.
Thank you very much, Isango. I hope I pronounced that well.
Right.
And thank you, Noella and the TGC team for having me. So, if I must go back to the beginning, what came to my mind was to share, I think the season that I would want to share, which was very pivotal, is when I had just graduated from the university, fresh out of school. I had studied civil engineering. That was my background. I had that training. I was so focused and was so sure I was going to be an engineer. And during my undergrad, I had interned in a construction firm that had lots of projects. I also interned in an civil engineering design firm. So I was so sure that I was going to go the engineering consulting route. And then I was done with school, and for some reason, I don't really recall what happened. There was a delay right? And I found myself home for 4 years. There's something that in Nigeria, for those that are not Nigerian audience, once you're done with graduation, we have a 1-year mandatory National Youth Service scheme program that you would have to do, especially if you're under 30. Here was I think I was just 21 going to 22. I had finished school and I was just home for 4 months. I didn't know what to do with myself. And word had it that we may be home for 1 year. So I decided then, you know what, I need to do something. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do with myself. And then the opportunity came. Oh, there's this banking internship, right? It may be more of a teller kind of role, but you can go in for a graduate internship with the bank, and it came through family. And I decided, you know what, maybe I should take a shot. And initially, my classmates, I was in a class of over 150, were just barely 7 females in class then, in university days. So there was this thing of pride that I'll be a female engineer. And in my home, my dad was so particular about me being an engineer, right? And then I had this internship opportunity. It felt like, okay, just use it to pass time. But that was very instrumental in my journey till date. So I go in and I do this internship, and I did not just earn a stipend, I learned work ethics. And in the bank in which I interned with, it was fast paced, it was high volume, I felt pressure. And I think it brought out the best in me that I matched the expectation of my supervisors at the time. And when I was done with the internship, I went for the 1-year NYC. That experience is what has helped me. In my over 18 years, almost 19 years of HR experience, it was the recommendation from my supervisory manager when I was interning at the bank that got me my first job. And when I got the first job, I was just fresh out of NYC. I just made a call and I was like, oh, there's an aptitude test going on in this company. Can you share your CV? Let's just send. And I know they are not looking for engineers, but it's an engineering company. And you could start with that. I think they are looking for recruiters, people that will recruit engineers. But I know you really want to do your engineering thing, but you can start from there. And I put in my CV. I was shortlisted to take the test the following day. And I took the test. And I was hired. In fact, I was the only one that was hired because it was just one slot. And I got in just a day before, right? That's when I even knew of the opportunity. So for me, I had seen that it was my diligence, apparently, and the way I had taken that job when I was interning at the bank that got me the opportunity. I got that opportunity and with a promissory note that if there's opportunity in the structural engineering department, I would be deployed in there. And the opportunity came, but I turned it down. And way back at the time, that was an extra for those that are Nigerians here, 50,000 extra just by moving departments. And I decided to stay because at that point, I think I felt more peace doing what I was doing. It wasn't so much about money. And that's when I now said, okay, I'm an engineer, right? What am I doing recruiting engineers? Because we used to second engineers to multinational, international oil companies, right? So I enjoyed the interaction. I enjoyed having to connect people to jobs. I enjoyed having to deal with people, and I was dealing with very experienced people, even as an entry level, trying to get them jobs. I enjoyed learning how to headhunt, trying to get them opportunities, even when they were not actively looking. And I decided to stay put. And that's when I now learned, okay, there must be more to this. That's when I learned about HR, because I was just doing recruitment. I didn't know that it was a whole gamut of HR. I thought that was all it was. So that's how I got into knowing, okay, there are certifications to be done. And because I came from engineering background, I had to start from 1 or 2 levels below where others that had some social background or business background started from. And I wrote the exams. Luckily for me, I had a good support system. So during that period, I was studying to get certified. I had that background. But why I'm sharing this story is because even my second job, which is still the job I'm doing here today, when I was interviewing for that job, the CEO, knowing I had interned at a bank and I had worked at a particular company, there was someone he knew that had worked in both. And he was like, what would this person say about you if I made a call And that was my boss's boss, right? I was like, okay, I don't know what I yapped anyway, but I think I confidently responded to that question. And that's what got me that job, because that call happened, right? My CEO called my manager's manager, and I think the referral or the recommendation got me the job that I'm doing today. And I started and I grew through the ranks. So I got in as a recruitment specialist, and then my boss then left. A new person from outside was hired, and then I felt, but I can do this job, right? I can head this department. But I'm looking back now, I'm thinking I wasn't ready. Yeah. I don't think I was ready at the time. But then I felt, okay, I think I can learn something from this person. So the new boss came, and I became like a lieutenant, like a first assistant of some sort to my boss. And luckily, or as life would have it, right? When I was off on my maternity leave for my second child, my then boss decided it was time to move on. And I think he made a case and said, Mmemme can do this. You do not need to go look for anyone from outside, right? And I was called up from my maternity leave, and I was told that I'm going to come straight from maternity leave and I'm going to head the department. It was a struggle for me because my role wasn't filled. So I was now doubling two roles. And when I joined this organization, we're just barely 300. Today, Sundry Foods has close to 5,000, over 4,500, 4,600 employees. And it's not just Sundry Foods. We have a related company that I also set up the HR from scratch and have been there right from the onset. So if you put those two together, it's a large head count. And in all of this, the journey has been very fulfilling. I think this is my 16th year, and there's been no dull moments. Fast-paced, high volume, and I kept on learning and evolving as the years went by. And for me, it wasn't that my roles changed or the title changed or I got more pay. It was more about the person I was evolving into. I look back at myself as that intern in GT, in the bank that I interned in, to my first role where I spent barely 3 years, and to this role that I'm almost 16 years on. And every season had its own challenge. I look at my life in terms of transitions. I've had several transition moments, right? And for me, it was the decisions that I took at every season or every transition moment that really determined whether I was accelerating or whether I was remaining on a plateau. There has been several seasons all along the journey. And one thing again was that my mindset was something I protected. My mindset kept evolving. I evolved from an individual contributor who was just particular about getting her work done, being conscientious, being detailed, just submitting my deliverables, to one who was leading people and always resisting the urge to step in to solve problems, because I struggled with that at my early years of leadership. Even way back up in 5 years before now, I know the changes that have happened in terms of my leadership. And even in my current role as I transitioned, I also face challenges in terms of the person that I am today. And what I found is that with every transition, I was never ready. And I believe that it happens to the best of us. You don't wait until you're ready and then you wait for the position to come to you, or you wait to be called up to the table. Sometimes you have to work for it. You have to be confident enough to say, I think I can do this, even with the self-doubt, even without being sure that you can really do it. You just look at what's the worst that can happen. Because what I found is that I love to tick all my boxes. And if it's not 100%, I won't make a leap. And I found out late, though, right, that I don't need to tick all the boxes. Because in interviewing people, I found that more men that didn't even know their left from right were confident and were coming for positions, and women that had all it took, maybe 90-95% were shying away of opportunities. They weren't selling themselves. And then men that barely had 50%, 60% of what it took were coming with all the confidence and saying, I can do this, I can do that. Whereas the women were not. And I saw myself in those candidates that I see every day, because for a large organization like ours, we hire people every other day. It's round the clock because of the growth and expansion. And because also the industry also has a relatively high attrition, especially at the lower levels, there's always a hiring going on. So I've seen the trend that women, and like myself, I saw myself in it, that I would shy away from taking opportunities. I was lucky that my then boss in 2013 decided, you know what, Meme, you can do it. Really, you've been the one doing all the work. That's what he told me. You've been the one doing, you have what it takes. You've been doing the work. You just need to have that confidence that you will do it, and decide that you will do it, and you will do it. And this boss was someone that I didn't even really have what you call a fantastic chummy relationship with, right? Because I did almost all that. I was the worker, right? And he just presents, does his presentation. He goes, he liked a bit of soft work, right? So he needed, and I think it was a good combination, because I would do all the hands-on work and all of that. But I thought he wasn't, and I think working with him actually strengthened me, because if I was working with also a boss that was doing most of the work and not allowing me to take decisions, maybe I wouldn't have grown the balls that I needed to be a leader. And when he was leaving, he paved the way for me. And he actually made a case. I wasn't even available. I was on maternity leave. I just had a baby. And you know, when you come back in my organization, you still have a 3 months flexi time where you won't even have to work the, most hours. But they had confidence that Meme would do this, even with the flexi hours. Meme has the competence. And that's how I stepped into the HR leadership role. That was in 2013. And now I'm in the C-suite, and it's also been what I think building credibility along the way. And building credibility for me wasn't just competence. Yes, I tried to prove my value. I tried to prove that I could do it. So I was putting extra, I was going above and beyond, and I was driving my team to do that. But I've realized that you need consistency to sustain your credibility, right? You can't just do it and go 100 meters for something that is a marathon. You have to be very steady at it, consistent. You need to be seen, whether people are watching or not. They should be able to beat their chest and say, oh, Meme can do this. Meme will not do this in this situation. These are the kind of decisions she would take. People should be able to know you for what you can or cannot do and what you will do. There's no there's no side, how will I put it? Oh, it may or may not happen this way. What they say is what they get, right? You'll be sure at, for where you stand when it comes to me. And I think I learned that early enough, and that has helped my journey. And I think that credibility I have built over time, the network from even when I had that short stint as an intern has helped me, because if you look at it, that internship that I did has been part of my entire journey, because my recommendation for my first job and my second job, which are the only two places I have worked since I graduated, since post NYC actually, has been linked to that internship. So I am glad I didn't take that for granted. I think I'll just pause there for more questions.
That is a wealth of knowledge. Don't be scared to pivot. I guess then, having so many years of leadership experience, I want to ask, what leadership lessons did life teach you through challenges, mistakes, or emotional demanding seasons?
Growth comes with a lot of discomfort. With every time I took on new roles, new responsibilities, even when it was same role, but the organization needed to pivot, needed to make a change, a lot was happening. You grow as a result of those external changes. But more importantly, you grow internally from inside out, right? And growth will stretch you. Like I think I had mentioned it before. I mentioned that a lot of times I wasn't ready for the opportunities that came, but when they came, I took it and I think I owned it, and I decided I can do this. I won't let in Nigerian parlance, I won't fall my own hand because I'm my biggest critic, right? And I decided, to take every opportunity that came, but growth was very uncomfortable. Even my recent experience stepping into C-suite, I found very quickly, oh my, that what brought me to that position is not going to be what would keep me, right? The way I was leading before, I can't be leading because I'm now a leader of other leaders. I had leaders under my purview that had their own teams. And I learned very quickly that, I need to change my approach to leadership. I was very uncomfortable because as you go higher, number one, there's more pressure that people can't see, invisible pressure and the visible pressure from the work front, from the home front, trying to put everything together. So I went through that discomfort. I still find discomfort even recently. There are expectations of me, and I find there's ambiguity. You are not getting clarity that you really need, and you still have to show up like a leader, right, and give clarity to others, whereas you don't even know what you're talking about, right? But you need to show up like you understand. You have to give direction. People are looking up to you, but you are in murky waters. It's ambiguous. It's not clear, but you need to give clarity. So that discomfort must happen when you grow. When you are going from one level to the other level, right? You may not have the competence that is fully required. You have to don't get uncomfortable with the discomfort. You have to sit with the discomfort. It's something I had to learn. Sit with that discomfort, live with it, try and get clarity, for yourself and for the people that are looking up to you. That's one lesson. The second lesson for me was that I had to build credibility, because I think why I have grown and I have become so emotionally vested in where I work in right now. I have a good relationship with the other C-suite members, with my directors and my CEO. It's because I believe I have credibility. Their perception of me, they believe I'm credible. That's why they would listen to advice. That's why you make proposals. And even though they poke holes on it, they send you back, you come back, you try and balance things out between what the people want and what management wants. I think that credibility is important, but you need to be very consistent at it. You can't be credible today and then something shakes it up. And when you are consistent, even if you are doing the wrong thing, when people see you are very consistent at that thing, they go to sleep, they come back, you are the same person. They leave, they come back, because in my organization, we rehire people that leave. People go, they come back. They still see that same consistency in the system. As a person, when you are consistent and the kind of role that I do, you will bring that consistency into even the systems, into the structures, into building and scaling beyond yourself. And that's the stage I am in now. And that's what I'm learning. I'm still learning, right? Because we are scaling as we go. And just when you think you have scaled and you want to rest a little bit, there's no breather. You have to scale again, so you have to constantly learn, evolve, retweak your mindset. My mindset has changed, evolved over the years. People that maybe knew me 5 years before now, if they get to interact with me, you would see that something has gone a notch higher, because I keep trying to learn and evolve as we go along. So I think those are the two. Did I mention just two lessons that I've learned?
Yes. Yes, such important lessons. Credibility, be comfortable in the discomfort. And the last one was absolutely important. You've shared so much. And I think then with all of that wealth of knowledge, experience, so much exposure, and such a leadership role, how do you protect your peace? Maintain your authenticity? That when someone comes in and out of the company, you're still you. How do you maintain your authenticity? Keep showing up even during overwhelming moments. What are those activities? What are those tips?
Okay. I think I learned, and in fact, more recently, I have learned that it's not everything, right, that deserves my energy. when I say, oh, I don't have time, I later realized after going through a coaching session that it wasn't so much about not having time. Because there are days I'm home, I have time, but I'm just, will I say, doom scrolling my phone. My kids are home, but I just don't have the energy I don't have energy to actually have the time with them. I have time, but I don't have energy. So I realized that I needed to audit my energy and manage my energy. And also, I realized that I needed to let go, because as you grow, there are things I was very comfortable doing, right? As a junior manager, mid-level manager, even as a senior manager, that I shouldn't be doing at this level. But sometimes I find myself going because it's easier to step in, quickly solve the problem, fight fires. And I found that I can't keep up, right? I need to protect my peace, because when I come home, my head is still, rolling out the things that I needed to do, things that really I have capable hands that should do, but I'm worrying over them. So I just learned to say, okay, you know what does this thing deserve my time? And then I've learned to prioritize, my energy, especially, so that I'm only focusing on the things that really need me. That do not, if it's something that someone else can do, I let it go. And I've learned how to just shut off. As in, if something goes wrong, let it go wrong. Let them make mistakes. Yeah, would. Because I personally don't like to make mistakes. I like to get things right the first time. And I think it's the orientation I got in the first place I worked. Told me, you can't afford mistakes, Meme. You have to aim to get it right the first time. And that my boss was very particular about me getting things right the first time. So I think that is one mindset that has stuck with me over the years, that I need to get things right the first time. But I've unlearned that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to let go and allow other people to do stuff. It's okay to delegate, not just tasks, but delegate judgment. Let people take decisions. Let people make judgment. Because what I found was I was still delegating just tasks, and I was still having to take decisions. I was still having to make judgment calls. And it was getting at me, because I'm not having peace. I go home, but I'm not home. I'm still at work. I'm still doing stuff. My mental state is still very active, planning the next work, doing work that I have people on the team that should do it. So the way I'm protecting my peace now is I've learned to let go. I've learned to allow people make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And I'm learning to allow people take decisions. Recently someone sent me a message and I sent back to say, so what if you were the one to take this decision? What would you do, right? Person wanted me to take a decision. I was like, and the person had the answer, right? I was like, oh girl, you already had the answer, so why were you still coming to me for me to be a bottleneck? So that's the way I'm having my peace. So when I shut down from work and I come home, I am home, and I can watch series, I can watch a movie, I can switch off, I can have time for family, which has been a challenge, because even when I'm home, I am not home. Everything about me is work. My husband will say, you've given this job your blood, as in everything about you. But I've learned now to have some peace. And I think that's what I've done. And again, another thing is clarity. So at this stage, I mentioned that there's a lot of ambiguity. So what I do is, when I'm in that ambiguity, I try to find clarity. Maybe not 100%, but for me to just have head starts, for me to be able to kick start, I try to find out, okay, does the authority lie with me? What is the expectations for me? What can I hand over to someone else? So having clarity, prioritizing having clarity, and even boundaries as to what I would let go of. And please don't come, I try to learn boundaries. And it's one of my direct reports that actually taught me indirectly boundaries, because I could call you from at any point in time. I could chat you at any point in time. But I realized that one of my direct doesn't respond, after a certain time, the person doesn't respond. So I had to learn to say, okay, you know what, this person actually needs her time. So me too. I also need my time. So I learned boundaries, and I'm still learning, because sometimes I have to resist that urge very intentionally. Sometimes it comes to me impulsively to reach out, to do things. And I'm like, no, this person needs that time. And I too I need to set that boundaries. And I think that's what has helped me so far to protect my peace.
Wow, thank you so much. Protecting your peace, so important, something that we hardly learn. Thank you. I have learned a lot as well. Thank you very much, Meme. You have been absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing deeper parts of your journey and experiences. And I would like to ask everyone to give all our speakers a round of applause. Thank you to Shatha. Thank you to Olga. Thank you to Dr. Jojo. Thank you, Meme. You guys have been so amazing. And then a special thank you to the head. I need to read this correctly because I neglected to share our very distinguished announcer's position. The global head of projects for GC. Thank you very much, Ogo, for sharing the acceleration program. Please don't forget to apply. All the Nigerian women, we're rooting for you. We cannot wait for you to keep applying and to take it to the next level. Everyone in the conference, can you please just for a small moment open your cameras? We'd like to take a group picture to have this memory and to have this moment, this life-changing moment for many of us in camera and to have it in our records. After that, I will hand over back to you, Noella, to give us the closing. Emmanuel, when you see it fit, please go ahead, my brother.
All right, all right. I'm just waiting for the smiles and for more people to turn on their cameras as well.
Let's turn on our cameras, everybody. Candid moment.
Amazing. I
Thank
have a few
you.
pictures now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Appreciate it. Over to you, Noella. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, it's been an explosive night. Thank you so much, everybody. Shava set the pace. Olga took it. Dr. Jojo just took us to another level. And then Bebe, oh my goodness. Bebe just set the house on fire. Thank you so much, everybody, for such an amazing and memorable moment. I haven't stopped. I was typing, I was writing, I was doing all sorts at the same time. I was just all over the place. I have learned so much from your journey. And I know that the emerging female leaders we've had on this call, that many of them, if not all of them, have learned a thing or two from your resilience, your grit, how you've been able to navigate pivots, cope, your coping mechanisms, how you've been able to overcome stereotypes and what people will say, what they will say, how you've been able to protect your energy. And I like the fact about protecting your peace, protecting your energy. Honestly, all of us high achieving women, we need to learn to protect our peace and our energy so we don't burn out because we need to stay alive and healthy to be able to inspire the next generation. And on this note, I would say thank you so much, everybody. Tomorrow, I will announce where our ship, the Growth Conference ship, is going to birth next. It's going to be a regional conference. The announcement will be made tomorrow after tomorrow's session. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, our amazing audience. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, who have stayed up to this time. And thank you so much, Lazola, for managing the time so well. Yeah, we exceeded by 15 minutes. Not so bad. Thank you so much. God bless you all and see you all tomorrow. Hail and hearty. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Noella.
Thank you. Thank you, Noella.
Bye,
Thank you, everyone.
ladies.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Whoa. Thank you so much, our speakers.